Hello, and thank you for joining us for the guidance on how to fill out your CTA ABC Chapter PAC applications. My name is Wade, and here sharing their screen is Patrick. I want to give you an overview of the ABC and available tool resources through CTA. Resources can be found by Googling CTA \ABC, which will take you to the CTA ABC page. Once you're on the CTA ABC page, you can find the contact for your CTA ABC member by scrolling to the middle of the page. You can also find below that the calendars and application deadlines. You also can reach your political organizer. Step number 1 of the process is to review the local president checklist for preparing and scheduling a request for the CTA ABC funding assistance. This document is helpful in asking questions that you might not have thought of or have answers to. Your CTA ABC member is available to work with you, the regional political organizer, and your board member to explain or find answers to your questions. Step 2 is to review the funding formula. Each application has a different formula, and the formula depends on whether the election is at large or by area, how many candidates your local supports, the number of voters in the district or area, and how many members are in the chapter, area, or county. Important to note before we get started, the candidate must have raised at least the amount equal to the base grant. If there are campaign finance limits, the base grant shall not exceed the finance limit. Step 3, complete and submit the appropriate application form below. Step 3, you want to complete and submit the CTA ABC application for the CTA ABC funds and the included PAC budget. Chapter PAC packet for K through 12, community college, and county by the deadline. And step 4, you want to have a campaign plan for the last 2 FPPC forms must be submitted with this application packet. If you don't have a campaign plan, you can use the optional campaign plan template.
Hi, I'm Julie Sowers, and I'm here to talk to you about the community college applications. So first, click on the link. Before beginning the application, you'll need to know your number of chapter members and the number of CTA members that live in that board district. You can get this information from CTA 360 or Falcon. You'll also need the number of registered voters in the full school district if the election is at large, or the number of voters in the trustee area if the election is by area. These numbers will be used to calculate the funding amount. You can find that information here. And then on page 1, you want to start filling page 1 of the application by entering the election date and your local and the local PAC information and contacts. There are a couple of lines reminding you that you'll need to submit a campaign plan, the campaign budget form, and your chapter PAC's FPPC paperwork. The budget form is attached to this application. You may submit the form and budget while waiting for your FPPC paperwork, but a check will not be cut until ABC receives it. Describe details about the race and why it is important to your local. You may attach additional information to the application if more space is needed. And then on page 2, CTA ABC requires candidates' names or the issue's name. If you have more than one candidate, you do not need to fill out another form. You may list them all on this page. Also note on number 4 where you want the check to be sent. Otherwise, we'll assume that you want it sent to your chapter address. A physical address is required to provide a check. The check can be mailed to a P.O. box, but there must be a physical address on the application. Under part 3, the campaign, you'll select whether the election is at large or by district or area. If the election is at large, you'll look for the number of total registered voters for the school district and input that in the first line. If the election is by district, please list each recommended candidate and their trustee area and how many voters are registered in each district area. For example, Sacramento City Unified has about 191,000 registered voters, but Sacramento Unified Trustee Area 1 has 33,000 voters. If this is an issue application, please check the box whether it is a bond, parcel tax, or a recall. Next, tell us how many chapter members you have, how many you expect to volunteer, and how many CTA members live and vote in your district. It's important to make sure that your political organizer knows about this campaign so that they can support your efforts and your funding request. For campaign finances, you'll be able to use the numbers you just entered to calculate the funding amount. It's important to know that your PAC cannot receive a grant of more than 50% of the total monies available and reserved for the race. For example, if the local PAC contributes $500 and the ABC committee contributes $500, the ABC committee will have contributed 50% of the total monies available.
Hi, I'm Patrick. In the next part of the application, you will fill in the amount that your chapter is requesting. For this, you'll use the funding formula. When you click on the funding formula document for a PAC application, you're going to go down to the third page, and there are two different formulas depending on whether your election is at large or by area. For an at-large election, you're going to use the formula number of candidates times the number of voters times 0.015 plus the number of members. For example, if you have 3 candidates elected at large and you have 20,000 voters and 200 members, 3 times the quantity, 20,000 times 0.015 plus 200 comes out to $1,500. On the other hand, if your election is by area and you have, for example, 3 candidates, 200,000 voters, and 200 members, you will use the formula 3 times the quantity 200,000 times 0.032 plus 200, which comes out to $19,800. Your PAC must have $19,800 available and budgeted for the campaign. So in other words, your local will put in $19,800 and ABC would contribute $19,800. If this is for an issue, such as a bond or parcel tax, you will refer to the chart on the second page of the funding formula document, which is based on the number of members in your chapter and the type of issue you are running. For example, if you have 500 members and are running a parcel tax, you are eligible for $1,125. Once you have used the funding formula to determine the amount you're requesting from ABC, please complete all the questions and answer questions asking about your PAC's contribution, PAC balances and revenue, additional money from other sources, and the total budget for the campaign as accurately as possible. They will help determine how much CTA ABC is actually able to contribute, especially if you later ask for a special circumstance grant. If there is a local contribution limit, CTA ABC cannot contribute above that amount. If the candidate is not accepting contributions in order to avoid filing FPPC forms, CTA ABC should not be contributing to that candidate. You must receive approval from your chapter president, CTA ABC member, and CTA board member. Waiting for approvals from these members will hold up your check. The budget form is required with the application. It will calculate totals for you based on your entries. All money budgeted from your local PAC will be entered in the left column. All money anticipated and budgeted from the money you receive from CTA ABC will go in the middle column. If you need help with the application or the budget form, please contact your political organizer or CTA ABC member. ABC receives hundreds of applications during the September and October meetings, and we want to make sure that you are able to receive your contribution in time to be helpful for your election. Be sure to add your campaign plan and FPPC forms and send your application to your ABC member to review. If you completed a community college PAC application, send it to the District Q member. Your ABC member may have additional questions. They will be presenting your application during the next CTA ABC meeting and may receive concerns from other committee members. Please note, if you apply for CTA ABC funds and your candidate is uncontested, you must return the contribution to ABC. All right, so let's talk about some next steps. If you have funding from a local PAC and can demonstrate an extraordinary condition or situation, you may also submit an application for a special circumstances grant. There is also a training video specifically for this type of grant. After you submit your application, CTA Governmental Relations will let you know if there are any inaccuracies or missing information. We must receive the correct or missing information before the meeting date for the application to be considered. After the committee approves your application, they make the recommendation to the CTA Board of Directors. Once the board approves, Governmental Relations works to get the checks processed and sent out. After your election, you have 100 days to submit your evaluation form at the links shown here based on your application type. The evaluation form is required and could affect future funding if not submitted. Next, under Resources, you can find a link for finding the number of registered voters in your area, contacting your county elections office, campaign forms, campaign finance data. Remember to find the number of members in your chapter. You can go to CTA 360. To find the number of members that work in the county, contact your political organizer for your region, or you can contact the Governmental Relations Department at area code 916-325-1500. And we'll close this video with a few reminders. Remember to always keep your CTA ABC member, political organizer, and board member in the loop. You need a physical address, not just a P.O. box for CTA to write a check. Make sure that you're using the correct form, which in our case would be for community college. If the candidate is not accepting contributions, to avoid filing a Form 460, you need to know this. If a candidate is running unopposed, CTA ABC cannot fund them. If there is a contribution limit, CTA ABC cannot fund over that amount. New local PACs must provide a statement of organization to be considered for funding. Local PACs must be formed either as a county or city PAC, not as a state PAC. And finally, local PACs cannot make direct contributions with CTA ABC PAC funds to other CTA affiliated PACs, candidates, central committees, or labor councils.